Okay, so see the question here. It says the graph opposite, and I've shown it above here, shows the cumulative frequency of scores obtained in a darts tournament. Use the graph to estimate the median. Okay, now when we go to use a cumulative frequency graph to estimate the median, we need to find out what was the top cumulative frequency. So if you have a look here, the top of this graph is 200. Okay, so half of that is 100. So to get the median, we need to go to 100 and read across from 100. Now because it says use your graph, you do need to put in lines showing how you're entering or working out the graph. So we'll put that line and it crosses the graph here exactly at 80. Okay, so because the reading down here is 80, that's the median. Okay, so 80 is the median. Now, second part of the question, how many scores were more than 150? Now, a cumulative frequency graph gives you scores less than, so we can use this to find out how many scored less than 150. Okay, now 150 is going to be exactly halfway here, so we've got to be careful and go up the middle of this square. That's 150. Okay, and then we can see it meets it just exactly here. Okay, so we're using our graph, so we've got to show how we used it. So we went up from here and reading off here. Now, each of these is 4, so that's 184. So that means 184 scores were less than 150. Okay, so since there was 200 in all, so 184, yeah. So 184 taken away is 16. So there were 16 scores more than 150. Okay, so you've got to take the answer you get from your away from the total, which was 200. Remember we said that at the start, total of 200. 184 or less, that means there must be 16 who are more. Okay, the last part of the question then says, from the graph draw a box plot. Okay, now to draw a box plot you need the median, the upper quartile and the lower quartile. So we've already got the median, so that's going to be our starting point. Okay, so the lower quartile, so it's going to be the bottom quarter. So if a half is 100, the bottom quarter is going to be 50. So we're going to have to come across from 50. So again, we've got to measure it carefully, halfway between 60 and 40. So it's going to be 2.5, so it's there. Okay, now we can see that's coming down exactly at 60. Okay, so that's going to be the start of our box at 60. Okay, then 3/4. Okay, if you want to show the examiner how you're doing that, so we're coming down from 60. And then the top is going to be 150. So if we go up here, half between 140 and 160. Okay, and we can see it's exactly here. Okay, so it's coming down there 2 squares after 100. So there's the box for our box plot. Like I say, it's very useful then putting it directly below the graph, because then we can line it up, just show using dots. That's where we get the upper quartile. We already have the median, it's exactly 80, so we'll draw that in too. And that just leaves 2 other points to mark in. The other points you normally mark in a cumulative frequency curve are the lowest, in this case 0, and if we look, the highest is actually up at 180. Okay, so 180, and you draw those in. And that's another name given to a box plot. It's called a box and whiskers. And if I draw these lines in, you can maybe see why we talk about a box and whiskers. The max and mins look like a set of whiskers. Okay, so remember again, to draw a box plot you need the bottom quarter, so I've come across at 150. The median, halfway, which is 100, and 3/4 the way, which would be 150. That gives you the box, and then the whiskers are made up of the maximum, and minimum.